Cover-ups are the cornerstone of Donald Trump's administration. Whether it be the Epstein files, his crypto crimes, or literal bruises on his hands, Donald Trump is always trying to cover up. But if you're going to do that successfully, you need good liars around you. Donald Trump doesn't have that. Shameless liars maybe, but they're not good at it. Especially the person whose job it is to lie on behalf of Donald Trump, Carolyn Leavitt, who just exposed his biggest cover-up yet in a post that has completely backfired. Yes, Carolyn Leavitt has once again screwed over her boss, exposing his health scandal, and she did it online. We're going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we can get into how Carolyn Leavitt exposed the problems with Trump's physical health, I want to start with his cognitive decline, which was on full display and a story that no one talked nearly enough about. Trump, 79, invents fake governor in embarrassing senior moment. Donald Trump, 79, confounded his audience during an executive order signing on Monday in the Oval Office, rambling about an imaginary governor named Christie Whitman. You know, I did a favor for Christie Whitman, Trump said, seated behind the Resolute desk. Whitmer, he added moments later, and what seemed like a fleeting moment of self-correction, though he still appeared to be referring to a non-existent Christie Whitmer. The president was likely trying to name Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, especially as he soon invoked the Great Lakes. A good favor, I think, wish the fish, the carp, the China carp. You ever hear of it? He asked, addressing the silent room. He continued, China carp, and it's taking over your Great Lakes. It's also possible Trump was confusing Gretchen Whitmer with Christie Todd Whitman, the New Jersey governor and EPA administrator who goes by Christie. Or he may have mixed Whitmer up with the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, a name he has publicly fumbled before. Earlier this month, while introducing members of his cabinet, Trump misidentified Noem out on stage as Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Kerr, while Noem stood just feet away. Another contender in the Christie confusion, former New Jersey governor and 2024 presidential candidate Chris Christie, whom Trump later referenced in his Monday remarks. Look, Chris Christie is a slob. Everybody knows it, Trump said. I always thought he got away with murder. The Monday mishaps are just the latest in a string of verbal fumbles by the president that have raised eyebrows. 2 weeks ago, Trump told reporters not once, but twice, that he was going to Russia on Friday. In reality, he was headed to Alaska for a meeting with President Putin. And of course, he's fumbled names many times in the past. So yeah, Donald Trump has no idea what's going on around him. He's in clear cognitive decline, and the media really barely covers it. But now they are being forced to because Trump is just broadcasting it. And he's doing it to himself now when it comes to physical health because of what he said about J.B. Pritzker. That is very important before we get into Leavitt.
Corrupt politicians and bad politicians like a guy like Pritzker. He ought to spend more time in the gym, actually. This guy is a disaster.
I have to give you the opportunity to respond to some of the personal attacks we heard in the Oval Office. He called you incompetent. He talked about your weight. What's your response to the president?
Well, you know, from my perspective, it takes one to know one on the weight question. And the president, of course, himself is not in good shape. So he ought to respond to that from me. I would say also that his personal attacks on me are just evidence of a guy who's still living in fifth grade. He's the kind of bully that throws invectives at people. And because he knows that what he's saying is actually commentary on himself.
Yeah, Donald Trump's going to have to take a look in the mirror before he starts criticizing people for how they look. And J.B. Pritzker has an actual heart, so I wouldn't take too many shots at his body and his physical appearance, considering Donald Trump is a melting blob of goo, of orange goo. And it's very apparent to us all. Again, Trump is always now putting his hand over his bruises in meetings and press conferences so no one can see them. But Carolyn Leavitt clearly didn't think about that when making a birthday post for herself. Trump's bruised hand pops up to wish Lips Leavitt a happy birthday. Donald Trump's team chose to post a birthday message for White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt with a photo showing off the president's bruised hand heavily caked in makeup. The Team Trump Twitter account shared a gushing tribute to the amazing Leavitt, who Trump once praised for having lips that move like she's a machine gun. As you can see right here, Trump has a bruise on his hand covered up with makeup. The photo celebrating her 28th birthday Sunday shows Trump walking alongside Leavitt, his right hand smeared with thick makeup to conceal a large bruise. Concerns have been mounting over the 79-year-old president's health as he repeatedly has been spotted trying to disguise bruises with poorly matched makeup. Trump even took the additional step of using his left hand to cover his right while speaking to the press in the Oval Office on Friday to shield the concerning patch of makeup. Leavitt said Trump keeps getting bruises on his hand as he meets more Americans and shakes their hands on a daily basis, more so than any other president in history. His commitment is unwavering, and he proves that every single day, Leavitt told the Daily Beast. Yeah, you're not really going to be able to spin this one, Carolyn, after exposing that your boss is deteriorating before our eyes. And if you're a doctor and you want to share more information on maybe the state of this deterioration, that would make us all feel better. I'm not going to be specific in what I'm saying or alluding to, but maybe drop some thoughts in the comments below. They can't hide this, though, and it's just embarrassing. This is an administration that claims it's the most transparent in history, which is obvious bullshit, but what they really are is the most responsive. Now, I like to say this every time that I can. Responding to questions is not the same as answering them. Carolyn Leavitt, Donald Trump, his stooges that appear on Fox 24/7, yeah, they throw a lot of slop out there. They say a lot of nonsense. Those aren't answers to questions. That's not transparency. A caked up makeup hand is not transparency. And it's also not transparency to hide the Epstein files, which you know we're going to keep talking about on this show, and we're going to make sure that you're getting the most up-to-date information, and that comes from Robert Garcia right here.
Among the specific documents the committee is requesting include, quote, all entries contained within the reported leather-bound book compiled by Ms. Ghislaine Maxwell for Mr. Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday. This is the birthday book that, according to the Wall Street Journal, includes a body letter from Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein with a drawing of a naked woman and a message that concludes, happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. Donald Trump has denied that such a letter exists, but now Congress will get to see exactly what is in that birthday book after Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna vowed to pursue that subpoena on this program last month.
It is a revelation to me that he said that that birthday book is with private lawyers in the Epstein estate. We subpoenaed the Epstein files, but that's a hard thing to do, to get the Department of Justice to cooperate in releasing those files. What's not hard to do is to subpoena private attorneys in a private estate and to get compliance. So I'm actually going to invite Bradley Edwards to meet with the House Oversight Committee, and I think we can easily move forward on this subpoena of that birthday book, and which could really advance this case.
Joining us now is Democratic Congressman Robert Garcia of California. He's the top-ranking Democrat on the House Oversight Committee. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you for being with us. Doesn't matter what you think about the whole Epstein thing, the compounding of what appear to be lies is becoming quite interesting. We got the audio and the transcripts of the very strange conversation that was had by the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, who is Donald Trump's lawyer, and Ghislaine Maxwell. And this issue of this birthday book came up. Can I just play for you a little about what they said about the birthday book and get your take on the other side?
Do you remember asking President Trump to submit a letter for that?
I do not.
And do you remember, would you have been the one to do that, or would somebody else have done that?
I did ask some people. I don't remember Mr. Trump. I don't remember who I did ask, but Epstein also asked people himself directly.
Okay.
So it could have happened that way, if it happened at all.
Unsatisfying, to say the least. Your take on that?
I mean, first, both Donald Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell are enormous liars, clearly. And this just continues, this massive cover-up. First of all, let's be clear. Ghislaine Maxwell is a convicted sex trafficker and abuser of young women and girls, is a known liar, has been convicted of incredible violence and serious crimes. So we shouldn't be believing anything she says. And as far as Donald Trump, going out and saying that somehow this book doesn't exist, it clearly does. I mean, we've seen it reported, of course, in the Wall Street Journal and other places. But more importantly, we've been fighting to actually get this book. And we were told, and we told James Comer, both Congressman Khanna, myself, and others, that we were going to subpoena this book. And so I'm glad that oversight is now going to get in possession of this book. I'm glad that James Comer finally agreed today to bring Alex Acosta in forward of the Oversight Committee. And I think what James Comer and the Republicans finally know is that Democrats on the Oversight Committee, we are not messing around. We're going to force votes, just like we forced the Epstein files to get released. We're going to force them to take the votes that they don't want to take. And we're not going to stop until we get justice for all the victims and tell the American people that all we're hearing from them right now are lies and a massive cover-up.
Yeah, you mentioned Alex Acosta. He seems central to the operation, right? It seems that if you could hear from Alex Acosta, you could understand that either there's a cover-up, or maybe it's just as bad that rich people get good deals, and that's how it goes. But Alex Acosta was central to this thing and was not included on that first list of people subpoenaed.
Right. I mean, look, I think what's interesting, of course, is that first list of people subpoenaed was essentially cherry-picked by the Republicans. Folks that we had suggested to add, they weren't interested. They're now only interested in Alex Acosta because we, of course, have been pushing hard on it, and we have been recruiting Republicans who've now come out publicly, like Representative Luna, and said, oh, yes, we should bring Alex Acosta in. And so Comer and the Republican leadership understand that we are picking off Republicans to join Democrats in ensuring that we get as much disclosure and transparency as possible. And they know that on that first day back into session, which we're actually nearing here in about a week, we were going to raise hell, force a subpoena vote, and ensure that folks came to the committee. And so now they are, of course, today relenting on Alex Acosta. They're relenting on subpoenaing the book. And we're going to continue to push for more disclosure. What matters here is the truth and justice for the victims. And we're going to continue to, that is our focus, and that's what the American people want.
We received 33,000 pages of documents from the Epstein files. Of those 33,000 pages, 97% of them were essentially records that were already in the public domain. These are court documents, reports, records that have been accessible to the public now for, in some cases, for many, many months. And so not a lot of new information. There were some flight logs that were additional and new. About 1,000 pages of the 33,000 pages were actually new documents, of which, of course, we're reviewing. But we spent the weekend, our committee and our team, just going through that entire first batch. And it's clear that this cover-up by the White House and the DOJ continues. The subpoena, which was bipartisan, and that Democrats forced Republicans to vote on, made it clear that we wanted the full, unredacted Epstein files, and the White House and the DOJ continue to stall. And the question must be asked, what are they hiding?
I promise you, we will not be letting up on this, that we will continue to talk about the Epstein files every single day as it drives Donald Trump crazy. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.